Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trilokyam Sacharacharam Tat Padam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva bandhuscha sakha Tvameva vedya dravinam Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Jai Guru. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So where are we in our text?
Starting chapter 7 on page 152.
Will you help us out, Puneet?
Tatya Karpata Virachita Kanta Punya Punya Vivarchipantaha Chunyagare Tishtati Nagno Shuddha Niranjana Samarasmaha. The enlightened one, nude or clad in a patched garment made of rags gathered from roads, follows the path which is devoid of virtue and vice and stays in an empty abode, absorbed in the pure, stainless, homogeneous being.
Yes. So whether or not the sadhu, the siddha, is naked, what they call sky clad, or just wearing a kurta with patches and holes, no shoes, wandering about. But also, they may be disguised as a person who works at the supermarket. Wherever their prarabdha puts them. No concern for this world. Ever with the mind, absorbed in the self. With the expression that Jory shared with me, soaking the mind in Brahman. Soaking the mind in the self. There's nothing to do, nothing not to do. Shankara has a very beautiful metaphor. There are certain species of moths that look a lot like a dead leaf. And if you see the moth fluttering about, it's being impelled by its own ego, it's flapping its wings. But if the wind picks up a dead leaf and blows it about, boy, they look exactly the same. There's movement, but the leaf is dead. The leaf is just being blown about by the winds. So the person in ignorance, they are like the moth. They are being impelled by their serious likes and dislikes. I must have it this way. I'll never have it that way. But the person of steady wisdom, the free person, impelled by the force of their past, but even more so by the desires of other people. Not that they're being codependent. Oh, I'll do whatever you say. No. But that's the impulse of the society that creates what they do. But they have no concern one way or the other. Now, I was having a conversation with a person. We were talking about health issues. This does not mean to ignore taking care of your body. The image I like to use for the body is you want to think of your body like a car. Now, it's irresponsible if you let the tires get bald. Oh, it doesn't matter if the tires are bald. If I have a blowout and crash and kill people on the freeway, it doesn't matter. That's nonsense. Oh, I'm letting go and let God. There's no oil in the engine. If the car engine completely is destroyed, it doesn't matter. That's foolishness. So if you have a car, whether it's an old 20-year-old Volkswagen, maybe the Lord gave you an Audi for a body. But whatever you do with it, rotate the tires and change the oil. Meaning, you do maintenance on the car. Now, if there's any of us who've ever suffered with a serious health crisis, you'll know that nobody thinks about the body more than someone who's got pain. Now, when you're an advanced yogi, you can deal with these things. They do not afflict us. But in the meantime, take care of your vehicle. So the Mahatmas that live up in the Himalayas, they bathe regularly. They go out and do bhiksha once a day. They wash their clothes. If they have a kutya, a little mud hut, they keep it clean and sattvic. So we want to see that there's an implied meaning here. We don't want to take it literalistically. Any thoughts about this? Now, that's very different than the person who spends 45 minutes in front of the mirror before they go out to work. Maybe you're overdoing it a little bit. Next verse.
Laksha laksha vivarjita laksho yukta yukta vivarjita vakshaha kevala tattva niranjana puto vada vivada katham vadutaha. The enlightened one aims at that which is without any mark or marklessness. He is skillful, being devoid of right and wrong. He is the absolute truth, stainless and pure. How can the liberated one engage in discussion and disputation?
Yes. So let's parse this one. The first idea.
The enlightened one aims at that which is without any marks or marklessness.
Yes. Meaning, the person of steady wisdom has given up having a business plan for life. Do you make plans? You might. But they could change on a dime. But if you think there is security, I'm going to own a piece of property by the time I'm 35. I'm going to have a net worth of $1 million by the time I'm 40. I'm going to own my own business by such and such a date. These are my goals. I'm going to get married by the time I'm such and such an age. I intend to have these children, etc., etc., etc. Oh boy. We miss the wonderful spontaneity and mystery and joy of God's plan for us. And I've shared this with you before, what my friend Rebecca Pelly said. God has given me everything I never knew I really wanted. Let go and let God have his wonderful way. Next idea.
He is skillful, being devoid of right and wrong.
Yes. So the yogi practices skillful means in their interaction in the world. Meaning they've given up ideas of this is what the scriptures say is right behavior, and this is what the scriptures say is wrong behavior. They've gone outside of morality and virtue. They've silenced the screaming voices of raga and dvesha. I must have it this way. I'll never have it that way. And they're able to move from a very deep, intuitive place. This internal guidance system. And I tell you, it is omniscient and is an unerring guide to our lives. The invitation here is to learn to trust. It's worth perhaps making a few mistakes. You thought it was deep intuition, and it wasn't. To learn to trust. I call it my signals, my sense of rightness. And I will simply ask the universe a question. All right, should I do this? and then I wait. Sometimes I get yes. Sometimes I get no. Sometimes I'm not telling. So you wait. Do the best you can. But frequently, that sense of rightness does not follow what is logical. And again, I think I may have told some of you in other classes, when I applied for my job as director of music at St. Augustine, I go in, I had the interview with the priest, and then I went in for a rehearsal. And, I was auditioning them as much as they were auditioning me. And it was this church where there was a lot of politics, and there were these various little camps of power centers, because they'd been without leadership for a long time. And people were, well, we only do it this way. This is the way we've always done it. And then one of the women said, well, I'm the one who chooses all the music. Okay. And this fellow Silas gave me a ride home. He had picked me up. This is before I lost my sight, but he had picked me up. And driving home, I said, Silas, I'd be nuts to take this job. This is a wackadoodle church. And they hadn't had a music director for a year and a half because they'd scared everybody away with all this nonsense. And Silas thought a minute and he said, will you pray about it, Jim? And I said, yes, that I will do. So I came home and I sat right here. It wasn't in this chair, but it was right 2 chairs ago. And I said, all right, should I take this job? And I had this definite sense, yes, take the job. My rational mind said, but my signals, my skillful means said, take the job. I was there for 14 years. And it turned out to be a wonderful situation. I got to build a music program from scratch all the way up. They gave me enormous support. I had a blast. We did some really good stuff. But if I had listened to my rational mind instead of my intuition, I would have missed the opportunity. Now, this starts out as an occasional hunch or inspiration. But if we take the time to practice getting still, and again, the precondition is you must attain to Yogarudha, as Krishna says in Gita. What is Yogarudha? It means when I'm willing to do anything and I'm willing to not do anything. When I've given up my investment in the outcome. Now, from that neutral place, what shall I do? But it will become an unerring guide, even to the point you're at home, you may be doing the dishes or something, and you get the thought, call so-and-so. Call them. Found out, yeah, they needed to talk. Sometimes I say, no, I wasn't, no problem. What are you calling for? Oh, I'm glad you called, but no, everything's fine. Okay, maybe it wasn't a real intuition that time. But if you practice it can be like you're driving someplace and you'll get the sense, no, I shouldn't go the way I normally do. I'm going to turn right and take this other route. that we practice living from this spontaneity. And it always communicates in the now, in the now, in the now. It's the place where the individual intellect finds how it's connected with the total mind, with the mind of God. And what will happen is you will find that you will be used. There's a very famous prayer attributed to St. Francis. It's not written by him, but it's called the St. Francis prayer. And it starts out, Lord, make me an instrument. That's when we are the happiest. That's when we're the most used. This is what the Master Jesus meant when he said, I of myself do no thing. It is the Father within that doeth the work. Any thoughts on this before we go to the next idea? Next idea.
He is the absolute truth, stainless and pure.
Yes. He is the absolute truth. He has become an Upanishad. And again, St. Francis said, wherever you go, preach the gospel, and if you must, use words. Most of the time, we don't need to use words. God talk is cheap talk. Be an instrument. Act. Be empty. And let Mother Shakti come through. Next verse.
Asha Pasha Shavibandhana Mukta Shauchachara Vivarjita Yukta Evam Sarva Vivarjita Shanta Tattvam Shuddha Niranjana Vantaha. Free from entrapment in the snares of hope and devoid of purificatory ceremonies, the enlightened one is ever absorbed in the absolute. Thus, having renounced all, he is the truth, pure and stainless.
Yes. So the first idea, being free from hope, is that what it says?
From entrapment, in the snares of hope and devoid of.
Yes. So free from entrapment and the snares of hope. Here, the kind of hope we're talking about is not the hope that I will attain moksha. It isn't about giving up our belief that self-realization is possible. We don't mean that. We mean the kind of hope where I hope I'm going to get what I want. If I really, really struggle and work really hard, I'm going to get the Cadillac or the boy or the girl or the car, etc. The person of steady wisdom has let go and they live in santosha, contentment. They're not entrapped. That kind of hope is another form of kartavya, obligatory action. I'll be happy when. It'll be better if. Struggle. Next idea.
devoid of purificatory ceremonies.
So for the devout Hindu, they spend religious ritual time doing puja, doing pilgrimages, sacred baths, etc., for the purpose of expiating papam and acquiring punya, expiating demerit or sin and acquiring merit, meaning I, the individual, need to get better. In the beginning, these can be of value. We need to sharpen the wonder sword of knowledge before we can discriminate clearly. But yourself is the only thing that will ever be Vishuddha, extremely pure, or beyond our worldly ideas of purity. Now listen very carefully. The equipment, the body, mind, intellect. To think you can perfect that into some notion of worldly perfection is like thinking you can count to the highest number. There's no there to get to. Now, that idea is in contrast and tension with this teaching. Don't be a dickhead. Don't hurt other people. So we endeavor to do our best to just not be a jerk out of compassion for other people. But you don't get a gold star from the Lord for it. It's just good behavior. Good behavior. So knowledge, again, is not a license to being a jerk. But the person of wisdom is going to make mistakes. All human beings do. And that idea of a mistake is just a worldly human concept. In the end, it's all perfect. Let's go of the past. Don't worry about it. It's all just the workings out of the force of the past. And the self is already pure. Now, when I was in Jaipur in 2015, I was hanging out with my friend Dave Dutt's guru, Bhuvaneshwarananda. And in that ashram, this is a really, really deep Mahatma. He's out there. And it was a great privilege to hang out and just be there. It was kind of an unplanned 2.5 meditation retreat. So every evening they did arati. So for Westerners, that's a ritual done with light in front of the various gurus and in front of the various gods, and they sing particular songs. Gurudev, the guru, did not participate. He is not involved. Man of wisdom, the woman of wisdom, who is there, what is there for me to pranam to bow down to? Now, when I was there, I participated in arati because I was a guest in this ashram. And it's good manners. Was I concerned about propitiating gurus and deities? No. Did I think I was going to get punya from this? I could care less. But why agitate the minds of other devotees by disrespectful behavior? So we hold these things in a subtler way. Any thoughts on this? Next idea. Or is that it on this verse?
It says the enlightened one is ever absorbed in the absolute.
Yes, same idea. Next verse.
Katham iha deha videha vicharaha kam iha raga viraga vicharaha nirmala nischala gaganakaram swayama iha tattvam sahajakaram. How can there be any discussion here of body and disembodiment, of attachment and detachment? Here is the truth itself in its spontaneous natural form, pure, immovable like the sky.
Yeah. So we've talked about this before, that the scriptures put forward these two notions of being jivan mukta, liberated while yet alive, and videha moksha, liberation beyond the body, meaning you accrue merit, then after you die, you go to Brahmaloka, and at the end of the age, you're liberated. Videha literally means beyond the body. Liberation that's beyond the body. The truth is they are in essence the same. For the person of wisdom, the mark of the person of wisdom, they know they're not the body. They know they're not the subtle body. They are already beyond. So those distinctions are meaningless to the person of steadiness. It's the second idea in the verse.
Attachment and detachment.
Yes. Oh, look at so and so. He's enjoying that. He's attached. He's attached. Oh, look at her. Oh, what a tapaswan. She doesn't enjoy anything. Look at how sour her face is. Sarvam kalvidam brahma. For the person of wisdom, all this is verily God. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Back to St. Francis, one of the things he was known for is he used a sense of familial relationship with everything. There's the classic song, Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon. He had a sense of connectedness, especially with animals. Wild animals would come to him. They did that with Ramana Maharshi too. And my favorite, he used to refer to his body as brother ass, meaning donkey, brother donkey. Just a vehicle to ride around on. And his dying words were, welcome, Sister Death. So the person of wisdom is open to everything that life brings. There's no resistance. Now, fellow falls off a ladder and breaks his leg. Oh, welcome, sister, broken leg. We need to get you to the doctor to get your leg set. Oh, no, I'm just open to everything. No, it doesn't mean that. You can go, welcome, sister, broken leg. And then you can say, welcome, brother ambulance. Greetings, brother doctor. Welcome, sister morphine. Doesn't mean foolishness. It means openness. You can get some funny ideas. Any thoughts on this? Now, opposite idea. Some people are terrified something's going to happen to their body. They're terrified. I was talking with a friend today, and her boyfriend, she's no kid, she's in her 60s. She's got a new love affair. It's been going on less than a year. And he is likely to go into back surgery, and she's really worried. And he doesn't want her around right now. He doesn't want her hovering over him. And she's all upset because he won't let her take care of him. She wants to go down there and take care of him. She feels shut out. She's fearful. He won't love me if I don't take care of him. So you and I, if in a circumstance like that, we have to accept life on life's terms. Without the compulsion to want to change other people. What's the slogan? You can't teach a pig to sing. It won't work, and it really annoys the pig. Next verse.
Katham iha tattvam vindati yatra rupam arupam katham iha tatra gaganakara paramo yatra vishayi karanam kathamiha tatra. Where the truth is known, how can there be form or formlessness? Where there is the Supreme, whose form is like the sky, how is perception of any object possible?
So when the truth is known, when we've answered the three big questions, who am I? What is this world? And how has it come about? Who am I? I am that partless Brahman, that Chidakasha, that space of consciousness. What is this world? We have to resolve these two statements that seem to be in conflict. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman alone is real. The phenomenal world is a lie. The phenomenal world is an illusion. And Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. All this is verily Brahma. So the world is. what it is. It's consciousness. It is that kutusta, that still, immovable Brahman. And the forms, nama rupa, comes about like a dream, like reflections in a mirror, like the images in crystal, like the end of the rainbow, seen, but not being. How has it come about? By means of imagination. Imagination of the infinite. Sankalpa. Maya Shakti of the infinite. The Jagat, the phenomenal world, is co-eternal with Brahman. It appears to undergo changes. Big bang, big crunch. Big bang, big. Maybe it goes big bang, goes on forever, and then goes into another universe, big bang. I don't know. Point is, Maya is co-eternal with the infinite. And the names and forms come about by means of imagination. Just like a dream. You are the God of your dream. You understand your own dream state. You will understand how the whole universe comes about. So for the person of wisdom, there's nothing to worry about. Let your own upadhis, your own equipments, fulfill their role in the divine lila, in the divine play. Say your lines with conviction. Be a good actor. Next verse.
Gaganakaram Nirantara Hansa Tattva Vishuddha Niranjana Hansaha Evam Katham Bhinna Vibhinnaha Banda Vibanda Vikara Bhinna. The Supreme Self is indivisible of the form of the sky. It is the truth, pure and stainless. Thus, how can there be here difference and non-difference, bondage and freedom from bondage, transformation and division?
So this is the great frustration of the ego at the end of the journey. In the beginning, we sublimate our various ego states into the ego state of the mumukshu, the seeker after liberation, into the ego state of the yogi. Now, that mumukshu wants to be able to reach their object of desire. I want to be realized. I want to get it. I want to have achieved the goal of the human life. I want to go there. What does the practice of knowledge do? It scrubs down the I, me, mine. The ego never gets to arrive. The ego dies. And what's left is my essential nature, Brahman. The great cosmic joke is it's always been there. But when you look inside, you find an enlightened person. Look inside, you see a great Mahatma. When you look inside, what's there? Ch.7. I am the form of bliss consciousness. Am I fooling myself, Jim? Is this really all there is to it? Who's worried about it? Drop it. Yeah, but maybe I'm fooling myself. Who's worried about it? Drop it. Yeah, but. Drop it. But I want to be sure that I know. Drop it. When you look behind your eyes and notice the noticer, what's there? There's nothing there. Chidananda Rupa. Shivoham, Shivoham. That's yourself. Well, Jim, I'm really working hard to attain nirvikalpa samadhi. Do you know who you are? Get quiet. Tune up the mind. You see nirvikalpa samadhi in there? Yeah, but the scriptures say, drop it. Jim, this is very unsatisfying. That's right. Give up all your concerns for anything in this world. Only you are real. Give up your fascination for the world. There is a saying in the Buddhist tradition, if you meet the Buddha along the path, kill him. What does that mean? If you're caught up in trying to be an enlightened person, if you want to be in the ego state of being the Buddha, kill it. It's another stupid ego state. You are shunyata, empty. You are purna, you are full. Next verse.
Kevala tattvam nirantara sarvam yoga viyogao katamiha garvam evam param nirantara sarvam evam katham saravisaram. Here is only the absolute truth, indivisible and the all. How can there be here union, disunion, or pride? If thus there is here only the supreme, indivisible, and the all, how can there be here any substance or absence of substance?
So again, all these dualities that the scriptures deal with. And the word that he's used in the all, didn't I hear you say kevalam?
Yeah.
Yeah, which literally means alone. That doesn't mean running off to a cave and being by yourself as an entity. It means Brahman alone is here. One, indivisible, homogeneous mass of consciousness. Vijnana Ghanam, as Mandukya says. There's only one of us here. In that one dances the play of this world. Next verse.
Kevala tattva niranjara sarvam gaganakara nirantara shuddham evam kathamiha sangavisangam satyam kathamiha rangavirangam. Here is the absolute truth, indivisible and pure, stainless and the all, of the form of the sky. Thus, how can there be here association and disassociation? How truly can there be here any play or cessation of play?
So he just contradicted me. I talked about the play of this world. It isn't really here. No matter how vivid the dream is, it is seen to have been just imagination. Gagana, like the sky. Is it neuter? Is it Gaganam?
It is Gaganam, yeah.
Vast and empty like the sky. Or to use Yoga Vasishtha's term, means exactly the same, Chidakasha, the space or the sky. Don't believe the scripture. Look. But Jim, how do I see this phenomenal world as that? seem so real. At least for a while, practice pulling all your concerns out of it. Because it appears, because of sankalpa. Meaning, as the mind gets more and more focused on this, that, and other things, they concretize, they appear more and more solid. Withdraw that, and the world starts to thin out. And you become more and more aware of the substrate. The dream-like, mist-like nature of this world becomes evident. Next verse.
Yoga viyogai rahito yogi, bhoga vibhogai rahito bhogi, evam charati imandam mandam manasa kalpita sahajanandam. The enlightened one is a yogi devoid of yoga and absence of yoga. He is an enjoyer devoid of enjoyment and absence of enjoyment. Thus he wanders leisurely, filled with the spontaneous joy of his own mind.
Yes. So his mind is spontaneously filled with joy. Remember our cosmic teeter-totter. The more the attachment, the less the peace. The more the craving, the more the misery. The more I let go, the more peace I have. The more I renounce the mind itself and all its toils, the more I have Atmaramana, the mind reveling. So the person of steady wisdom may be seen to be doing practices, may not be seen to be doing practices, may seem to be an intense enjoyer of the world, may not be enjoying the world. You can't tell by the externals. But one person of wisdom can recognize another. You can feel another human mind. You know if there's an ego there jonesing for the world. You can feel it. You can also tell if it's empty. How many more verses in this chapter?
6 more.
Okay, next one.
Bodha vibodhai sadatam yukto dvaita dvaitai katamiha muktaha sahajo virajaha katam iha yogi shuddha niranjana samarasa bhogi. If the yogi is always related to knowledge and perception, to duality and unity, how can she be free here? How can a yogi be natural and free from attachment here? She is the enjoyer of the pure, stainless, and homogeneous being.
So I'm not quite sure the implication of this. I think it's a rhetorical question. So for the person of steady wisdom, again, there are no rules, there are no laws. What is to be renounced? There's only one thing we need to renounce, and that's the mind itself. What does that mean to renounce the mind? It means you quit believing it. The mind itself quits believing the mind. Swamiji used to call it psychic suicide. Psychic harakiri, used to say. Give up believing your mind. Because the mind is the world and the world is the mind. And there's nothing to be done. Nothing to not do. Next one.
Bhaga bhagna vivarjita bhagno. Lagna lagna vivarjita lagnaha. Evam katamiha saravisaraha. Samarasa tattvam gaganakaraha. The self is destruction, devoid of the destroyed and undestroyed. The self is the auspicious moment, devoid of the auspicious and inauspicious time. Thus, how can there be here substance and absence of substance? The truth, which is homogeneous, is the form of the sky.
So the self is destruction. We have in the Hindu mythology that when Lord Shiva opens his third eye, the whole universe is reduced to ashes. What does it mean? For the person in ignorance, there are real people, places, things, and situations out there, and they cause me to have feelings. I'm upset about this, and I love that, because that stuff is real. But when the Jnana Chakshu, that's Shiva's eye, the eye of wisdom, opens. And I think it's in the Gospel of John, just out of the blue, Jesus said, no preparation, no follow-up. If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be filled with light. What do you mean? When the eye is open and sees, it's all Brahman. There's nothing created. There's nothing destroyed. It's like a hologram. It's like mirage waters in the desert. Even though it is seen, no, it's not. Two eyes, good and bad, right and wrong, honor, dishonor. The single eye. Sarvam Kalvinam Brahma. All this is verily God. God is unchanging. God is the same yesterday, today. God is love. Smoke that one a while. Next verse.
Satatam sarva vivarjita yuktaha. Sarvam tattva vivarjita muktaha. Evam katamiha jivitamaranam dhyanat dhyanaihi katamiha karanam. Forever divested of all and united to the self, the enlightened one is the all, free and devoid of truth. Thus, how can there be here life and death? How can there be any accomplishment through meditation or lack of meditation?
All the realms of practice are gone. You may not even notice when the body falls down. Gate, param, gone, gone, completely gone. Next verse.
Indrajalam idam sarvam yatha maru marikachikka akhandita makara vartate kevala shivaha. All this is magic, like a mirage in the desert. Only the absolute self of indivisible and impenetrable form exists.
So the term here is Indrajala. Indra, of course, is the king of the gods, but he also, his mystic symbolism is he's the mind. Jala means a web, does it not?
Yeah.
So the web of Indra, and the term put together, Indrajala, means magic. Magic here more like an illusionist. We would call him a stage hypnotist or sleight of hand. All this is just a magic show, a hologram, a virtual reality. Those would be our modern day images. What's really here? Satchidananda. Pure existence, pure consciousness and bliss. Absolute. What is this world? Pretty, maybe entertaining. Next one.
Dharma dau moksha paryantam nihira sarvathavayam katham raga viragaischa kalpayanti vipakshitaha. To all things, from the practice of religious laws and duties to liberation, we are completely indifferent. How can we have anything to do with attachment or detachment? Only the learned imagine these things.
So scholars are involved with these sorts of notions of do's and don'ts, virtue and vice, dharma, dharma, yoga practices, things I shouldn't do, this scripture, not this scripture. For the Avadhuta. Veda, dog food, about the same. Just one more, right?
Mhm.
Two more.
Just one.
Okay.
Vindati vindati nahi yatra chando lakshanam nahi tatra samaram magoha bhavitaputaha pralapati tattvam paramavadhutaha. Where one knows nothing, there is verily no versification. The Supreme and Free One, pure of thought, absorbed in the consciousness of the homogeneous being, prattles about the truth.
Yes, I love this verse because this whole thing has been a beautiful versification in poetry. But then what he says at the end, this whole book, blah, blah, blah. That too is meaning. So the Avadhuta may or may not talk, have verses. But if she has verses, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Shishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Namaha. Hari